with the committee members or anybody here?
Motion's on the table.
There's a motion and
And why not Barb on the committee also?
Because I wanted to keep it down to 5, so it was small. Both Supervisor Reyes and Chairman Jones already provided comments in the Town of Troy book. So they're already ramped up and provided.
I don't think who is on or not on the committee makes a difference if you're worried about other board members being on the committee, because when the committee brings it to the board, each board member can suggest their own revisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when would we see the revisions the two of you have prepared?
It would be given to the committee. And we were hoping to get something back in December from the committee. So
We
we're not,
shared the Town of Troy ones at the August meeting is what he's referring to.
That was not a good sample at all. That was
So it's a
very-
starting point, and that's why we're having this committee, so we can get feedback and feedback.
And compare that with Tonawanda
That
and
you
decide
proposed.
what needs to go in and what doesn't need.
Right,
More
So that's what we're doing.
compromise.
Town of Troy and Town of McGuanago both went through this process within a year, I
If
believe.
you're on the committee, you can bring that up to the committee.
Right.
yeah.
So, where are we at? We got a motion and a second. Anything else, or should I ask? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we have a committee. And we took both of those together.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the board to obtain and consider the development of a classification compensation plan in 2026 if budget dollars can be appropriated.
Which is looking tough right now, but we'll
Yeah.
see. But I'm told we can't even consider it if we don't have a vote for it. So, do we have a second for that?
You can second.
Okay, I can second. Any other discussion for it? All in favor? Opposed? All right.
I'd like to make a motion to create a capital fund for the town budget, Fund 400.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to know, if we create this fund, do we have to put money in it? Is that a requirement?
No.
Okay,
There is, but it can be $10.
got it, I got it.
And the point also for separating this, I think is very educational for town constituents as well as the board, is it separates all capital into one fund. So we know exactly what we're borrowing for and where it is relative to the other operational costs, which we're not technically allowed to borrow for. So that's the functional purpose for it that I think is very beneficial for everybody. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So
I'd like to make a motion to develop a long-range 20-year capital plan to support Fund 400.
I'll second that. Here's the point. What I did is I took the Excel sheet that the ETA ESD, Chief DeGaro, can't say Joe, I can't say Al, I say Chief. Chief DeGaro puts together every year, and we took that and adapted it, and Superintendent Shield, Chief Gurecki, and you also are doing building maintenance in that same thing. So we're gonna start laying that out, projecting costs for equipment, and then laying out, probably as a team, we'll lay out when that purchase can happen and start looking at where our costs are, so we can start planning. Until you see a plan, you can't really know when and where you can actually fund things. So it's an Excel tool. It's something well within the personnel capability. It's not complex. It's just a matter of gathering all the costs, just so everybody understands what that is.
And we have a estimate of when you want this done? We're putting a lot of work out there, and I'm just worried that,
Thinking, we didn't really put a date, we're saying, start poking away and putting it in there and start trying to gather everything we can.
that's good.
Once we have the Capital 400, that's today's snapshot. I mean, that's the stuff we have to spend money on, which we're kind of playing catch-up with this plan. But the idea is this plan can be developed over the rest of the end of the year and into the first of next year, and then hopefully we're ready for some budgeting next year. I'd like to start budgeting in April or May, quite frankly, to make this a little bit easier. So, we have a motion and a second, right? And any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Long range capital plan.
That's what we just did.
Yep. we're in
Yep,
line.
no, and now we're on, financial advisor. Now, this person can be, our current auditor, Baker Tilly, this person can be Ellers, this could be a lot of different people. At this point, we've capped our auditor to provide some help in this area, but, and I don't know whether we can actually afford it, again, if it's budget dollars allow. The point is, what I'm understanding is Ellers for about $7,000 through $8,500 roughly per year for the village, walks them through a set of multiple meetings that start in April and end in September, October. What it does is it works with you on the capital planning side, it starts looking at what you can afford to do, and it just works you through a streamlined process. The feeling was the village, this is my only data point at this point, there's just so much you can do in a day, but the data point is they have an airfield, which is not something we would have, and they also have a sewage system that we wouldn't have. So half the expectation is this could be in the $5,000 range, again, if we can afford it, that's why this is put up.
All right, I'd like to make a motion.
I have one person here, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I would think that, having an outside financial advisor come in would be much more beneficial to us in 2026 than having an administrator.
Okay. Anything, you wanna start a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to contract an outside financial advisor and to plan for potential 2026 expenses if the budget dollars can be appropriated.
I'll second.
Any discussion further on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
I'd like to make a motion that we purchase Cassell Connect add-on software, My Viewpoint, and second financial system application software license.
I'll second.
So what these two do is, My Viewpoint is an add-on to our current Cassell system that allows you to export to Excel and you can actually create Excel reports, which the public could have, that pulls right from the business system. Now, how far we'll get with it, but we don't even have the ability to export at this point. So it's like $2,000 to buy the software, and so we have put it in the 26 budget to do this. The second item is for a seat of our business system software for our deputy clerk, so a training process can happen, so we have both people ramped up on our treasury duties, or treasurer duties, sorry about that. So there's a small fee, maybe $250 for the one on a maintenance on an annual basis and $50 for the other. It's pretty minimal fee that would be hitting future budgets. So that's what we're deciding, and it is in the budget, I think, at this point, so I think,
About $4,000 for the two.
yeah. So any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? software. So now, to public comments. This is on here only to say it was discussed. The first public comments, if we were to discuss this, I guess, we're just talking about whether we want it on a future agenda.
I'll make a motion that we table the consideration of two public, periods of public comment.
Second.
Yeah.
We had it and took it off once already.
Yeah,
Right.
so we have a second, so I can offer comments. The point was made that if people coming into the planning commission want to make statements, you would have to say that first public comments is only for people on the agenda. That's all it would be for, not general comments. The second one would be general comments like what we have right now. So it's not an out of control thing.
I thought we were just gonna move public comments toward the end.
We just tabled the whole discussion, so we're at a motion and a second, right?
Correct.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor of tabling that? Aye.
I,
Okay, opposed? We'll table it for now.
So on the next point, reducing the two meeting planning commission format to a single meeting. Quite honestly, I think today it's essentially happening when it is a simple case, so I don't know that we need to necessarily change the procedure. I know there was the question about like, instead just doing it on the 3rd of the month, so then that gives Jen more time to present it for the next month's meeting. But I think then that's still an extra month for the applicants that way.
thank you.
Well, the point was that I would leave it, if you look at the way it laid it, is we would agree to move it to one. First off, if you're talking about a quasi-judicial process, it does not support two meetings separated by 2 weeks, because all the people can talk about it, do independent research, which is not allowed in a quasi-judicial proceeding. That is why they do it at the county in one meeting. And if they have to delay it to the next meeting, they say, talk to nobody, don't research anything, and if you want something, ask me, and we'll go do that research for you. That's what they do at the county. So again, in the interest of making sure we're quasi-judicial, I really think it should be our standard process to make it one meeting. Second point is that issue that we are always running that second meeting right when we're having to develop packets for the board meeting, which just creates an untenable tension of trying to get those done and in the packet and everything like that. So it would support that as well. And right now, most of the meetings we run are single meetings. I just watched the whole summer as single meetings. So why not give Jen and Clerk Olson and Chairman Cook the opportunity to meet together and decide when a single meeting might be best to support both county? And I wasn't proposing we would decide that. I was proposing we would just decide that a single meeting format would be acceptable. And then they would take on and do it. Yes,
If you transition to a single meeting format, currently, the fee is $300 for planning commission, and that covers if a decision isn't made at the first meeting, it covers that next meeting. If you go to a single meeting format, is that applicant then going to have to reapply and pay another application fee if a decision can't be made in one meeting?
I don't think so. Again, I don't really think
Yeah.
we need to be making these decisions. Our decision is to support a quasi-judicial process. Is it not better to make it one single meeting and have the multi-meeting be a special case that the planning commission decides we're gonna need a second meeting, and then, Attorney Cotter at the county was all over this aspect at the county meetings, that when the zoning agency meets, if they're not making a decision that day, he is sequestering everything. It's really tight, because it's supposed to be quasi-judicial.
And I would think the only time you might need a second meeting is if you wanted to schedule a field or site visit. Then you could reconvene after that had been done, in between the two meeting dates.
And it could be scheduled at that meeting, if they have a coordinated time. Anyway, I'm missing other.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Okay,
So if it is a single meeting and it is quasi judicial, is the applicant informed that then, that it will be, because it, you know, it's a rezone, that it will be that style of meeting when they come? And that they need to have everybody there?
That might require an ordinance update. I think it might specify in the ordinance it's the first and third Wednesday of the month.
Because I understand what you're saying about keeping it quasi judicial, but if the applicant isn't informed that and they don't bring everything to that first meeting. And the planning commission at that point better know that as well, which they should,
right,
so
so,
they have to make that decision at that meeting.
so today, how do they know there's two meeting format?
I don't know, I'm asking.
It's in the town, yeah.
I know they say it at the beginning of the meeting, so
It's in the town code, and Jen has a handout that I think has the two separate dates listed on it.
What does Joel think of this? I'm just curious. Have you asked him?
I have not personally, I don't know.
So I'll make a motion that we table discussion on the 2 meeting versus 1 meeting planning commission format.
Second.
To a future date.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
I'd like to make a motion, for ordinance 2025-9, amending section 16.2530 of the town code.
That's the attorney.
Okay.
You can still make that motion.
Okay. Pertaining to boat launch fees.
Second.
All that was in that draft was, I'm changing the fee for non-motorized or non-trailer craft to $10, I believe that it was $8. Motorized craft less than 20 feet will be $15 for residents and non-residents. Motorized craft between 20 and 26 feet, $20 for both residents and non-residents. $25 for residents and non-residents for a motorized craft greater than 26 feet. Annual pass, so just multiply each of those fees by 10, and that is your new annual pass fee. If you're going to park without launching, there's a $10 fee.
I'll second, but I have a question.
Okay, so go ahead.
I believe at the budget meeting, Chief Gurecki indicated that they were looking at kiosks, and he also suggested that we, check with the DNR as to the maximum fee that could be charged with a kiosk. And so I'm wondering if this isn't a little premature, if we need to decide about a boat launch kiosk before we change this.
I have what the maximum allowed is, and then I got an email from Chief Gurecki last week saying, here is what I want it to go to. So that's what these
Is that what
figures,
this is
That's
on the
what
back of
those
it?
that is the new rates for what the maximum fee is, but our ordinance does not incorporate the maximum fee. The chief didn't ask for those maximum fees yet.
All I'm saying is, do we want to table this until we look at that? I didn't know if we were meeting the order.
You probably could, since you probably won't sell another annual pass till next March.
Christmas,
Oh.
Attorney Mills, you probably weren't aware that at our budget workshop, there was discussion about adjusting. So I think that you had put that together prior to the budget workshop where Chief Director did indicate that the possibility of maybe going to the max was in his thought
Well, then I will make it, well, someone make a motion. to
I make a
table.
motion that we table ordinance 2025-9, amending section 16.25030 of the town code pertaining to the boat launch fees. But am I out of order?
Yeah,
process.
we
Yeah,
already had an
can we
Yes.
vote on, allow it on, amendment of doing it first?
Okay, so you gotta rescind.
I'll
No,
rescind.
he doesn't have to vote, it's just vote
Nay.
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 Nay. Okay.
Now, I'd like to make a
Yes,
motion
Marge.
that we table ordinance 2025-9, amending section 16.25.03 .030 of the town code pertaining to boat launch fees.
Second.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it's tabled.
Next item, ordinance 2025-10, it's repealing section 16.25.120 regarding fishing tournament permits and fees. This was discussed in, at last month's meeting. This ordinance simply amends to repeal it completely.
I'll make a motion that we repeal, ordinance 2025-10, repealing section 16.25.120 regarding fishing tournament permit and fees.
Second.
Any,
approving that ordinance.
Approving.
Yeah.
Yes.
any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
I'll make a motion, we authorize Attorney Mills to review 2026 employee contracts as revised.
Second.
Oh, wait, we gotta have a length extension, right?
We could do that after the motion.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. You have a second
Yep.
to, what is that one time?
To authorize Attorney Mills to review the 2026 employee contracts as revised.
Okay. And we have a second.
So,
Yeah.
do we?
We're all on board here.
Amend it,
We're
amend it.
waiting.
It's almost 9 o'clock.
I understand. Okay, so we're just amending, that's what this is for. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So now we have to do the length, correct?
Correct. The board has to decide if we are continuing existing contracts until there's an employee handbook that is done and approved. We need to know how long to extend the current contracts for. And the suggestion was made, I believe, that it could take up to between 4 and 6 months. So the earliest would be end of March. But it's up to the board to decide how long you want it extended to.
So the plan is to have an employee handbook done by the end of the year roughly. So the thought was we could get something implemented by February easily, and, I think 3/31 was the date that I was suggesting, so,
Okay.
we have a discussion.
Please remember that Jean and I are extremely busy in December, January, February, because,
March, April.
between
More
tax
elections.
collection, the audit, and everything else, that is a super busy time.
Isn't there also a February election?
Yes, so
Likely. If we-
I think we should allow some flexibility and to have a good solid draft by February and not December.
Well, I think if I may jump in here, with the timeline that you just gave, I think it's ambitious. I'm not saying it can't be done, but knowing that unless we're gonna schedule extra special town board meetings, if the committee comes to the full board with recommendations and then the board members all want revisions or discussing what stays in, what comes out, February might be a little too vigorous of a schedule.
Fine. I open it up
You said March? You
I said March
March
31st, but
Okay.
I guess I am ambitious.
Oh, I
Alright,
said February was ambitious.
Oh, February.
March
I
might
was
be
just thinking
doable.
a rough draft by February, but down the road
Oh.
for.
So,
I'd like to make a motion, we
wait.
extend.
Go ahead.
You have a discussion.
Well, yeah, I just wanted, so explain to me in layman's terms, what this means with extending employee contracts.
Instead of trying to do individual letters or whatever else, or having a full year contract, since we're trying to go to employee manual, it's late enough in the year that we need to have something that carries us into 2026.
That was one of the
So the-
suggestions from.
PAA made that suggestion that we should
Right.
talk about.
So, but then they still get their raises and everything now.
Yes, yes, yes,
That's
yes.
included in the.
That's why we would amend the contract, so they get all that.
All terms would stay the same except for salaries and the time frame
Duration.
of the contract.
It's a simple amendment.
And clothing allowances for the
Yeah,
police.
I mean, that's for the police, everybody else is stay the same.
I know, but, everything would change that was talked about and negotiated. And it just would be extended so
As
that
an
we,
amendment
so
to
we-
their existing.
so we don't have to try and create new contracts or do all that in
Okay.
addition
I
to.
just didn't understand, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
I don't know where we are. Did we have a motion?
No, we don't have a motion or a second.
Joe was about to, go ahead, Joe.
Bill, okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we extend employee contracts to March 31st, 2026.
I'll second.
That's too fast.
Okay, any discussion on that?
Is that a firm date, or could that be revised dependent upon how the committee does?
It could be revised.
Okay.
I suppose it could, yeah.
As we get closer, if we see we're not gonna make it. we can
Okay.
revise it.
I personally would just hate to go most of another year and get into budget season and try and do this again, it's just gonna
Well,
be.
quite honestly, after the March 31st deadline, if you will, you can monthly extend it one more month if you think it's only,
Okay.
you're 90% there, you know?
Okay, so you got telescope in near term.
Yes.
See. So we have a motion to extend or amend the contracts through 3/31/2026, right? And we have a second, right? Okay, so all in favor? Opposed? All right, I guess that's the date.
No, we cannot schedule our special board meeting for budget.
No. Yeah,
We can schedule a meeting.
it's under 13, it's a special meeting. It's-
Special opinion meetings.
Okay. So we need to schedule a final budget meeting next week, right?
Yeah, and I guess I wanna have some,
Can we just do it this week and get this done?
I wanna have a couple of department meetings, talk about some of this before we get maybe the board. Does the board fully need to be together for this at the end, is that the mission?
Yeah.
So can we do that where I can have multiple meetings with you guys this week to try and refine it and get it down, and then have that meeting where we can convey all that to the board? Is that a fair approach, or, I mean, others are welcome to participate, but it's other meetings.
I'm fine with that, if you're asking me, but.
I'm asking all,
And I would encourage that meeting to be scheduled earlier in the week, next week,
Like the
Rather than
Tuesday,
Friday.
yeah.
So you're saying,
because then if something does go awry, there's still a couple days before the 31st.
I can tell you, if they're waiting on information to put a fire protection fee schedule together, that's not gonna happen this week, most likely. And I'm not gonna get my ordinance drafted for that meeting this week.
but everything else, see, one of the things we've had a problem, why we're in this crunch, is because we wait all the discussions, we wait until the last weakest link is available, and that has just caused a crunch. So everything else we could beat up and we could have a contingency if we can't do that.
Yeah.
We can do all that up front. So I would work this week with you to do that. Is that fair?
So is everyone available Tuesday the 28th? For a special board meeting?
Sure.
6 o'clock?
Sounds good to me.
Does that work for Joe and Ty?
Yeah.
6 p.m.?
Six.
I'm trying to get there, just 2 seconds. And I have an intergovernmental agreement, or committee meeting that I already agreed to go to at 5 o'clock through probably 9 o'clock. So that doesn't work for
What
me.
does Monday look
Yeah.
like for everybody?
They're doing a medical thing at 5 till 5:45.
Because remember, we did talk about at one time trying to have meetings on a consistent day of the week. Does
Monday.
Monday work?
The
I'm
27th.
o-
Will Attorney Mills be ready by Monday?
I can have my ordinance to, well, if they have the information, I can get it done. This, first go around might be a lot of copy and paste from whatever I can find if it has to be done that quickly.
And that's okay, 'cause it can always be revised. and
Correct.
amended.
Okay,
Right. So Monday's good?
yep,
6 p.m.?
Monday's good?
6 o'clock Monday, let's do it.
Supervisor
I
Leonard,
believe so.
are you good? Yeah?
Okay,
I'll
motion
have
to,
to rearrange
Church,
my schedule.
I think so.
Okay, Monday, so we think so. So I think we're good for Monday.
all right, motion to adjourn.
No?
No,
No,
we
no.
have to go through it instead of any meetings. That's just one.
You can see I don't have control, so.
Okay, November 5th and 19th are the next planning commission meetings. November 17th is the public budget hearing at 5:30 in the meeting of the electors. November 17th at 6:30 will be the town board meeting. And then November 26th through the 28th, the town hall is closed for Thanksgiving.
And my birthday,
Happy birthday.
November 20th, ETEASD.
You don't have to write that in the minutes.
Okay.
And when is the Monday meeting?
No idea.
Okay, so,
Kim? November 20th,
November 20th.
ETEASD,
met last
5:30.
Wednesday.
Probably the 19th is Monday, I'm guessing.
All right,
There's a
Joe,
park committee meeting on
your
the
turn.
27th.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
park committee meeting on the 27th.
Oh,
I just heard.
That's Thanksgiving.
October 27th.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
I said the wrong thing. I thought we just,
There's a motion in the second.
okay,
I don't have stuff.
is it,
Second,
I second.
thank you.
Yes, Joe, you're right. You just scheduled a different meeting for the 27th.
right, we scheduled, that's what I'm trying to get to. We.
But hers is probably in the morning.
Okay, okay, fine. I just, we just kind of keep it together here. All right, so a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I just have one comment for the board. With Attorney Mills, increasing the launch fees for Beulah, when you guys are putting your budget together, you guys are creating a revenue stream while people are using that town resource. I think it may be fair if some of the launch fees go back to support that resource that people are using, whether it's for fish stocking, public fishing pier, weed control, things like that. There's a huge expense to a management district, and if you guys are collecting fees from the people who use it, some of that money I think should go back into that resource.
Those fees are there because we have a land use contract for that parking lot. So, and the road is the public access, so the DNR acknowledges that the water line, the high water mark, that's DNR responsibility. And so those fees go for boat patrol, they go
We should bring this
for,
up at the next meeting,
yeah,
or
There's a
so
lot
the
of-
rest of the public can hear.
right.
I just,
No, I
being on,
understand.
being on Lake District, I'm like, if people are using the boat launch and using that resource, maybe some of that money should go back towards it, but it sounds like it's.
Yeah, good with that.
Yeah.